back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you've never been here before. My name is Ash. As you can see, it is very early here. The episode where I live drops at 5 a.m. so I've been up since then watching the episode. I've watched it about 2.5 times now, and there's a lot to talk about. It was kind of a flashbacks of horrors that have happened in my life. I really resonated with some of the things that happened to a lot of people in this episode. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Please stay tuned to the end where I will give information on how you can win a stylish L-word shirt such as mine, or what I'm going to wear next week that has Bette for Mayor on it. So stay at the end for all that information, and thank you everyone who has subscribed, liked, commented, talked to me this week. It's been so nice. You guys are absolutely amazing. There's no one quite like L-word fans. So let's get started. Start the episode with Sophie in her bathroom, Danny and Finley, everyone's in the house getting ready, and because Finley, I guess, now has officially moved in, since that was what was going to happen last week, so must have happened. Danny's kind of on the phone, busy the whole time, not really paying that much attention to Sophie, and Finley comes into the bathroom and Sophie's in the shower. I don't know about you, but I do not do that with my friends, gay or straight. You can tell that Sophie's Finley's giving her lots of compliments and things, so she's kind of enjoying the attention from Finley, and Danny's just oblivious. So they go downstairs, everyone's making breakfast, getting ready, and Sophie gets a call to say that her grandma has fallen and is in the hospital. So of course she's gonna go and make sure she's okay with her mom and her sister. And Danny offers to go, and Sophie says, no, it's fine, I'll be okay, go to work, go deal with everything. So Danny leaves, goes to meet Bette. We switch scenes. Micah's mum shows up, and she's been and got some edibles for her trip to California. So I'm gonna talk about everyone in groups because there's a lot of scenes that are very, very quick, and I feel like if I do it scene by scene, we're just gonna be zipping too quickly. Next scene with Sophie and her family at the hospital. They're talking about the grandma and if she's in the right hospital and everything like that. Finley's there. Finley's helping her, being the best friend. Sophie's obviously trying to stay strong for her family. And you see her go out of the room and close the door and get really upset. So obviously she's worried about her grandma. Throughout the episode, there's a lot of Sophie and Finley. And Sophie, at one stage, is just sitting there, and her and Finley are kind of consoling, or Finley's consoling her, and Finley says to her oh, I'll pray with you. And we haven't got a huge amount of backstory on Finley, but what we do have, it doesn't sound very good for her. She seems to have had a very religious upbringing, and also obviously we know that she seems to be an alcoholic, whether that's her definition of herself or not, but she does have some issues with alcohol and the whole thing with the priest. So Sophie's saying to her, you don't have to pray with me, and Finley says she wants to, so they have a nice scene like that. At one stage towards the end of the episode, Finley goes back to get Sophie some clothes and things, and Danny walks in and just hears someone in the closet, so she thinks it's Sophie, and she says to her, oh, I didn't know you were back. And Finley says, no, it's just me. But they get into this little, you should have been there for her today, and Danny says, I offered. And Sophie has said to Finley in the episode, oh, she should know me better by now. And it's, how old are we? If you want something, speak up. This passive aggressive thing, I don't really like it. And Danny says, okay, I'll come back to the hospital with you. And they go back, and Danny actually gets pulled away because of an issue with Bette's campaign, which I'll talk about in a minute. So she's only there for literally 5 minutes, not even. And Finley and Sophie at the end, when they're saying goodbye, Sophie, they like go to walk away and do that thing with your hands, and Sophie kisses Finley. So that happens very, very much at the end of the episode. Sophie tells her sister about it in the last scene of the episode, but where are we gonna go from here? She says she's not gonna tell Danny, but obviously Danny's gonna find out somehow, like this is the L word. So we'll see what happens next week with them. I've written in my notes the first scene of the super throuple. In the beginning, Alice and Nat are talking about how Gigi's, you know, color coordinated their wardrobe and how everything's perfect and how did they survive without her. So the second I heard all this, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is coming down from mighty fall, and I definitely want to be around to see it, because I just feel so bad for Alice, because I said this before, she is one of my favorite characters. I think she has the best lines in the show. She's always so funny. Give Alice some happiness. Like, she always is in these situations where she's basically left for someone else. I mean, it happened with Dana and Laura. We don't know what happened to Tasha, but these people who she has, like Gavi DeVoe, who was a complete, like, to her. I don't know. I just feel really bad for Alice. So Alice, throughout the show, is dealing with the issues on her own show, and the male head of the network kind of tells her, we need to do something now, you're on the bubble, which someone tries to mansplain to her what the bubble is, and she's like, I know what the bubble is. So they're not making enough money, so they're kind of saying to her, like, we need to do some viral videos, and what a surprise, that's the man that she doesn't like speciality. So while Alice is kind of going back and forth from work and dealing with all that, Gigi and Nat are getting a little too coupley close for comfort. And I really like Gigi. Like, Bette Porter forever has my heart. Jennifer Beals, like, there's no one else on that show for me. But Gigi, out of the new people, and just after Bette, is the person that I like the most on the show. I love the actress. I don't really know too much about her. She seems quite like a private social media and everything. So she seems really cool. She's gorgeous. And I just like that she speaks Farsi and all this stuff. Like, she seems really interesting. But obviously her and Nat were ex-wives. They've had dinner together, Gigi and Nat, and they have started talking about how Nat saying, like, oh, what, we put our kids through all this divorce and upheaval, and now we're back together. Like, they basically say, Gigi says, you know, I wish I didn't cheat on you, and Nat kind of says, well, I wish I'd forgiven you or worked harder. And it's like, of course you can say that now, because it's just like with Bette and Tina, when Bette cheated in the first season with the carpenter. They're completely, what they've grown and learned, and I don't necessarily think people change, but they've become better versions of themselves, of the foundation that they had. It was always in them to be these people, but they needed these events to kind of charge them into doing these things, like being whatever it is, you know, letting the other one in more, which was with the case in Bette and Tina. Maybe Gigi and Nat was more of a power balance, I don't know, but they definitely seem to be a good couple now, and they have really graphic and super hot scene. So of course afterwards Alice comes in and they're kind of in bed, no clothes, hair a wreck, and they're not, you know, like, oh my gosh, like embarrassed or anything, that, and they're like, oh, Alice, like, you know, jump in. And Alice just looks completely, you know, Like, she's realized this was a bad idea. So they say, let's talk this out. Gigi says, you know, Alice stay, and Alice is like, no, Gigi, this is your house and your wife and your kids and your bed and all this stuff, so you stay. And Alice leaves and goes to Shane's. And I'll talk about that at the end. Alice then obviously stays at Shane's for a few days, and there's a scene where you hear Nat leaving a voicemail. Nat says kind of, oh, can we have a few days to, you know, think and talk and blah, blah, blah. And then they meet, Alice, Nat, and Gigi meet for breakfast or lunch, and it's really funny, like classic Alice scene, but also like you feel so bad for her. She sits down and the waitress is like, oh, can I get you anything? And Alice is like, coffee? Actually, no, I'll start with nothing and see where this goes, because yeah, smart woman, like there's no point ordering. You know that you're only going to be there a short while. So Alice is kind of says in her Alice way, like, this isn't gonna work, because that, you know, Gigi and Nat are like, oh, we've talked and everything's great and come back, and Alice is like, no, this is ridiculous. You guys are obviously, you know, want to be a couple, like and of course Alice like, I'm so glad I could, you know, be there for you and play this part and do this thing for you. So poor Alice. And just as she's about to leave, like the icing on top of the cake is the waitress brings over a tortilla soup and says, oh, one soup with 2 spoons. And Alice is just like, you guys, like, are you serious right now? So yeah, poor Alice. She, you know, she was living in Nat's house, living this, you know, perfect stepmom life, and had her show and stuff. So I just hope that the show, that she doesn't lose that too, because I mean, we've only had 7 episodes, but there has just been a path of destruction throughout these 7 episodes. Like, everyone seems so together and happy and, you know, well in the first episode, and by the end of it, like, everyone's a mess. So anyway, there are some small scenes with Micah, Hosea, and Micah's mom, and they're very short, but ultimately it looks like Micah and Hosea are going to be one of the only couples left standing by the end of this season. And they have a little short conversation at the end about how Micah's mom's kind of apologizing for not, you know, dealing with all these situations in the best way, and she's going to try harder. And she says, oh, your dad was better at this, and Micah's just like, yeah, he was. So I guess his dad it must be quite recent that he's passed away. So we just really haven't got too much backstory on anyone. I know there's only so much they can do in hour-long episodes with a large cast, and there's only 8 episodes in a season. So we get 10 next season, and we do have basics on everyone. So hopefully they'll dive into some stuff more, because we did have 6 seasons of mostly 12 episodes to get to know everyone else. I'm going to talk about Bette and Tina at the end, because they're the most important to me anyway. Shane and Kiara. I actually am really, really starting to like Kiara a lot. In the beginning, I was a bit like, is this going to be like the whole Shane, you know, married this amazing, like, billionaire singer person, and she's just too perfect. But she's really starting to you can see some of the character, and, you know, why Shane and Kiara are together. And I still don't like this kind of shady, I'm gonna get pregnant and then give you divorce papers and then surprise tell you I'm pregnant. That still is strange. But they go to have the ultrasound, and you can kind of see in Shane's face that, because prior Bette and Tina, again, I'll talk about that in a minute, has said, you know, oh, how they feel and everything like this. And, you know, I'm sure any woman watching this knows that we are constantly told how we should feel, when we should feel, exactly what you should feel. I mean, when my sister has 3 kids, 5 and under, and she said to me before that she wished that people wouldn't, you know, say these things in public about, oh, when your baby's born, you feel this and stuff, because it's different for everyone. Like, you don't just have the baby and all of a sudden you love it beyond belief. Like, it's just different for different people. Like, Bette and Tina talk about when they heard the heartbeat, they were like sobbing and out of control. It's just different for everyone, and you can see on Shane's face that she's thinking, oh my god, I should be sobbing and, you know, having all these feelings, and I'm not. And towards the end of the episode, she says this to Kiara, and Kiara's like, you feel how you feel. Like, it doesn't matter that you weren't, you know, beside yourself at the ultrasound. Just feel how you feel and carry on. Like, it's not anyone else's business. And Shane kind of got this from Tess, where they're having a conversation about the bar not doing well and being like 20% below their estimates and things. And Tess tells her a story about from being at AA that morning, and, you know, how she needs to talk to Kiara and stuff. So, you know, Tess, good job finally getting Shane to listen. You know, at the beginning, Shane was the one getting divorced, and again, there's not a lot of couples standing at the end. So we'll see what happens with them too, and this baby, and how all that turns out. So the most important part for me, and if there was elation last week and everyone was so excited that Tina was back, the episode wasn't a letdown, but what happened, I don't know, maybe they're setting us up. I'm still having some hope. Basically their first, they have not very many scenes, again, because I'm sure it's something to do with Laurel Holloman's schedule, but thank you so much for coming back regardless, even if you're there for 2 seconds, we appreciate it. And they're having breakfast with Shane and telling her about the ultrasound. And what I think was so cool about that scene too is they're obviously telling Shane, and at one stage, like, Bette grabs Tina's hand, and, you know, Bette gives her that look, and they're talking about, oh, when we went to see Angie's heartbeat for the first time. And it's like, we remember that, the audience, obviously. I can go watch that episode. Like, it's, I don't know, I think that's just so cool. And I know it's stupid because, yeah, we know it was on, but I just love when there's something like that, like calling back to the original. Tina asks Bette if she's free for dinner, and Bette offers to cook. And again, if we go back to the original, we know what that normally means. In, I think it's episode 7 in season 5, when Tina comes over and Bette's cooking for her, and the stir fry was absolutely ruined, I'm sure, by the end of it, because, you know, the best pickup line for Tina ever was Bette turn around. So that is not what happens here. The complete opposite, if anything. They show Bette just cooking for a few seconds before Tina comes, and you can see, like, Bette's so happy, and obviously she's thinking that something might happen, and Tina comes, and Tina kind of says to her, I'm looking for somewhere to live in LA. I love being, you know, here for Angie and everything. So Bette's like, oh, you know, if you want, you can stay here, Tina, while you're looking and stuff, and secretly never move out. But Tina puts a quick, swift thank you but no to that. And I did call this in my last video, and in comments, I'm going to put it on the screen for proof. But the thing we all feared, yep, Tina, a new partner, is a woman, because a lot of, I was pretty sure it was a woman, but a lot of people, I mean, we went that route before, Jesus, with that wet blanket Henry. she is with a woman, and the woman's name is Carrie. So Carrie's a perfectly nice name, I don't know. And Carrie has asked Tina to marry her, and Tina has said yes. And again, I probably will say this in every single L Word video ever. Jennifer Beals is one of, if not the best actresses on television. End of story. Television as a whole. She is amazing. And what she does with this character, being able to, can you imagine leaving a role or a job for over 10 years and coming back, and the mannerisms, the things she does, like everything is, she just is brilliant. Like, I cannot say enough good things about her. And when Tina tells her that, like, I'm sure other people who are big fans of the couple think this too, like, you just died for Bette. Like, it was all over her face. I'm gonna put some screenshots on the screen, and even in the screenshots you can see it. Like, it's all over her face. She doesn't know what to, first of all, she goes to grab a bottle of wine, and she just does not know what to do with herself, and she is doing everything she can not to break down. Like, I have been in pretty much the exact same situation. The way that she gets up like a couple of times, obviously, because you see like Bette going out of focus and Tina's in focus, and you see her kind of like, you know, covering her face, and she is just absolutely broken. Like, Jennifer Beals, again, like, amazing job. Tina, you can definitely tell she's feeling bad for Bette. Like, she knows Bette better than anyone, probably better than Bette, and it's just like, she manages to get a congratulations out, and I'm so happy for you, but literally as she's saying it, like, you can see her eyes like welling up, and she is devastated. But yeah, it's even at the end, she goes into the kitchen to get some champagne to celebrate, and you just see her like leaning against the counter, and just I felt so bad for her. And again, Jennifer Beals, just standout performance. She's friggin' brilliant. That's all the Bette and Tina that we really get in this episode. The one scene I was talking about with, I love the scenes with the originals. I just love them. I wish there was more. The Bette, obviously, after she gets this news, goes to Shane's, and that's when Alice shows up. And the scene with Shane, Tina, and Bette in the beginning, Alice was supposed to come, but Shane says, oh, she's still mad at you. So Bette is like in the other room, and Alice comes in, and she's talking about the throuple, and, you know, I just caught them together. And Bette comes out of the bathroom. I'm sorry, Alice, and I thought you would judge me. And Alice was kind of like, I'm in a throuple with 2 ex-wives. Like, why would I judge you? So they make up, thank God, that's good. Bette saying, obviously, you're not the only one dealing with a horrible time. So again, 7 episodes of destruction. Tina and Bette are on life support. Well, I think they're not even on life support because Tina's getting married to someone else. But the good thing about that is, I mean, it sounds like we're going to have a lot more Laurel Holloman next season, which, brilliant. Alice, she's done too. Shane and Kiara, divorced but together. Sophie and Danny, that's going to be a disaster. The one other scene that I didn't talk about was, there's a scene with Bette and Danny, and Danny gets the negative campaign. She talks in the beginning of the episode to Bette about, you know, her rival's gonna release a negative campaign and she should prepare one, and Bette says no, like, we're not going that route. And they get the negative campaign, and I'm gonna put it in here just because I don't know why, but I was like cracking up laughing at it.
He fucking did it.
Bette Porter wants you to believe her family is just like yours. We know better. She's not afraid to sleep with your wife. Vote for real family values, not Bette Porter. This ad paid for by...
It's just so funny because it is a little bit true, like Bette Porter, but it's hot, like horrible, and of course doing exactly what they hope it would do. Like, it shows Bette pushing the guy, it talks about sleeping with his wife, and yeah, it looks like a disaster for Bette. But Danny kind of says to her, I know that you don't want to go negative, and Bette's like, no, I have morals and standards, but if you think I'm not going to stand up to this homophobic BS, like, you don't know me, which looks like we're going to get some Bette fucking Porter next episode, which is good. Bette then says to Danny, do you want a whiskey? And it's only my cat in here watching this. And I literally said out loud to my cat, I was like, oh no, Bette, please, no. Because we know what happened. I think it was season 3, Nadia, Tina and her were over, and no, just please don't go there. Stay, no, not with that. Don't want Danny and Sophie to break up, and then Bette is so devastated about Tina that she sleeps with Danny or something. So I'm hoping the older, wiser Bette Porter won't do that, but you never know. That pretty much wraps this episode up. Again, trail of destruction, lots of broken hearts. Laurel Holloman again, thank you. Amazing to have you back. Even her mannerisms too, like, they just slip back into these roles so easily. I'm sure not easily, but it appears that way, which is of course what I'm sure what they want us to see. Jennifer Beals, someone give this woman a Golden Globe, an Emmy. The show is, you know, they never recognize the show, but I hope they realize that how much they've done for the community and the audience as a whole. We got really loyal people. So next week, I am gonna put a trailer review up later. I've only watched the trailer twice, so I'm gonna watch it a couple more times. They might release some other information today, and I did see some pictures, so I'll take a look at those too. The only thing is Tina is not in the trailer for next week, and it looks like it's we know, Bette's campaign. We're gonna find out either way if she wins or loses. I'm not 100% sold either way, so we'll see what happens. I think a lot's gonna happen next week. It's episode 8, it's the season finale. We are gonna have a long break. I'm hoping the show is back this year, but it'll be December. But I did hear some people saying it might not be back till 2021, so it's gonna be a long wait. I am going to probably start doing reviews for the original series when this season ends, so look out for those too. And if you would like to win a beautiful L-word rainbow shirt, Jenny is crossed out at the bottom, which I think was a nice touch, or the one I'm gonna wear next week that has Bette Porter for Mayor on it, please be a subscriber. Just click the subscribe button. If you want notifications turned on, make sure you hit the bell. And to be entered into the draw, all you have to do is comment on any of my L-word videos, whether it be reviews, discussions, trailer breakdowns, anything. Your comment can be anything you want. Just the only thing I ask is that there is no negative talk towards the actresses' looks or anything. Nobody really, there was a few comments talking a little bit, nothing was negative, but I have seen on other social media and things, people saying things about, the L word's not about that. We hold women up and support them and praise them, so I don't have time for that. Anything else, who you love, who you hate, who you can't stand, anything, who killed Jenny, really. But anything at all, put it down in the comments below. Please, I'm also gonna do the trailer breakdown today, so please look out for that and give it a watch whenever you have a chance. Thank you again so much, guys. I really appreciate each and every view. And now that it's daylight outside, I can start the day after my L word fix. Thanks, guys. Have a good day and hope you enjoyed the episode.